Hello, Anime Addicts. This podcast is brought to you by, you, the listener. And if you want to help out the podcast, you can do so over at our website, aaapodcast.com/join. We're also on Patreon, so you can support the podcast. You'll get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties every week has a little extra entertainment and a special thank you for helping us out. We want to keep this podcast advertisement free just for you, and we'll give you all that extra content again over at aaapodcast.com/join. Help out the show. We love you so much. And now let's get it rolling.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 550 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. My name is Mason, and me and my two friends here are going to make your anime addiction so much worse today. I guarantee it. First up is friend A, an aspiring Monster Energy influencer, Mitsugi. How's it going?
It's pretty good. I'm pouring it. 550, 50 nifty. Happy to be here. I have been sick since Monday, and I hope that I don't lose my voice. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I can't taste anything or smell anything. So, I don't even know. You know what? Let me see here. Nope. It's the strongest taste in the world, this orange monster, but I can't taste it. It tastes like water. Unbelievable.
Mitsugi has no taste. You heard it here first, folks. And next up is friend B and prophet of anime to come, Mandy. How's it going?
Hi. I'm excited to be here. I never have any sense of smell. Ever.
So does that mean that you can't taste either, Mandy?
My taste is really dull too. Like, I can smell. It just takes a lot.
So, as a side note, as we drift off track, I found that in the last 3 or 4 days, having not been able to really taste anything, I have less of a desire to eat, which is not good. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that happens broadly or if that's just me, but and the chat is like COVID mitts. Well, I don't really think so. I think it's a brutal sinus infection, but thank you for the well wishes, I guess. Oh my God.
Losing your sense of smell is like one of the top symptoms.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't really have any of the more prominent ones like the significant fever or the breathing or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm at home anyway, like a hiding in my house, so nothing doing.
Anyway, we wish you the best. Don't forget to join us Twitch, where we stream live every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST, and let Mintz know his COVID in real time. Of course, join us on Facebook, join us on Discord, and links to all that stuff, as well as polls, trivia, all on our website at aaapodcast.com. And the big poll you need to be aware of right now is our fall 2020 Listener's Choice poll. The deadline is going to be this upcoming Friday, November the 20th. So get your picks in. Remember, we've changed the format, so now you have 3 shows that we will be accepting for our reviews. So get there, get your picks in, and we would love to review what you want us to review. So again, that's at aaapodcast.com. Right at the top, it says Listener's Choice Poll. Click on it. Could not be simpler. This episode is going to be jam-packed full of hype, which if you're playing AAA bingo on the Mason card, hype is going to be said a lot today. So hopefully that's on your board. We will be discussing the winter 2021 shows that are coming, and boy, are there a lot of good ones with a ton of potential, as well as the review of The God of High School, which was the Listener's Choice poll from that season, which, by the way, reminder again, if I didn't say it, go take the poll on the website. Yeah. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So do we have...
I should note that there is a retro review in the top 3 of the poll. So we will take the top 3 from this poll and we will review them. There is a listener choice, or there is a retro anime as in the top 3. I won't say what it is. And the third anime is not clearly defined. It's actually a 2-way tie for third, so jump in here. We've already had over 300 votes. But
Ooh.
And we are having website problems right now, so it may not exist on the website, but you can get to it on Discord or through Twitter more easily. And I got people working on the website right now, so because I am not much of a website person, so that's about it.
No sweat. We
Go
appreciate
vote.
it.
Vote.
Just do it.
Come on. Just do it.
Let's get to the big news of the week if we don't have anything else.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Even though I can't taste it, I'm still enjoying my monster. Guys, a fish cleared Pokemon Sapphire. It's hilarious. From start to finish.
A fish?
A fish.
Or a person named Fish?
No, a fish. A beta fish. In a bowl.
What?
Cleared Pokemon Sapphire from start to finish in 3,200 hours.
Wow.
Unfucking
Was
real.
Pokemon Sapphire the one that got like a negative score for having too much water? Because if so, it's very fitting that the fish is the one to beat it.
So he took a fish tank and he put a grid on the bottom of the fish tank that was a 5x5 inch grid or something, and used an infrared laser to track the fish's movements all over the fish bowl. And the bottom of the surface represented the left, right, up, down, and A/B buttons on the GameCube controller, which I guess are all that are required to play Pokemon on the GameCube. And just by randomly swimming around, the fish managed to clear the game, I guess by just happening to stumble upon the right place, winning random battles by chance, probably dying a gajillion times, but cleared the game in 3,200 hours in 4 months.
Which is 133 days, or
Yeah,
4 months. is
four
what I was probably
continu-
about to say.
Yeah, 4 continual months, and just complete madness. I don't even know
What
how.
started it at Choose is what I want to know.
Oh, I don't know. If you read the article, you might be able to find it out. But it looks like the stream was live streamed on the fish Muteki Maru's YouTube page, which has over 100,000 followers now, which in and of itself
It's amazing.
is pretty funny. And he finished the game at like level 78. So the fish actually got to level 78. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how the fish captures Pokemon and stuff like that, but apparently it did it. So
This is amazing. I want to
So,
watch this.
so you can
How many
watch
hours?
3,200.
Oh, of course.
If you want to
Yeah.
save some time, you can watch a earlier fish in 2014 beat Pokemon Red in about 125 hours.
Did
Wow.
it use Squirtle?
It's been done before.
Does it have all of the water types is what I want to know.
For people that don't have a mental image of what's happening in this, and I'll move on quickly here, is that like imagine one of those Pokemon like cave rooms where you got to push the boulders around, Like he's just pushing boulders around the room by random chance for 100 hours, and then happens to randomly get the opening and then go through the door. And he probably at times went back through the door again and then fucked up the puzzle, But like there's just crazy, just absolute crazy shit. So, I don't know. And people have been following it for 4 months, and we'll have to see where Muteki Maru goes next. Oh, and so there were two other fish that helped, and he swapped the fish out every like 12 hours or something to give them a break. Just to
Hard
be
work.
just to be humanitarian or something. So
Hard work swimming, man.
I thought you guys would like that, especially Mandy, who likes Pokemon, and
I love this. This is fantastic. I want to watch it.
it's pretty
Probably not for
entertaining.
3,000 hours, but
Yeah, I mean, I can just imagine being one of the people on the YouTube like live stream, just cheering on the fish to like go left,
Mm-hmm.
But and the
oh, it reminds me of like when everybody got together for Twitch plays Pokemon.
That was great.
That was fantastic. So many good memes came out of it.
The Helix. Praise the Helix.
Yeah, praise the Helix. It's the only thing they couldn't get rid of.
I am going before I move on here. I'm going to post the link to the listener choice poll in the Twitch so the people that are watching can vote easily. And that's all I got, guys. I just thought that was a lot of fun. If you want to go check it out, the fish is Muteki Maru, and I'm sure it won't be hard for you to find it online.
That's amazing. Thank you. I didn't know about that. I don't really have anything important. I was looking through news. I couldn't really find anything that really grabbed me. But still on the topic of Pokemon, they did make like a full-size Metapod sleeping bag that you can get. Like it's a suit, and the pictures of this guy wearing this Metapod suit are fantastic. But you just put your entire body inside of it, zip it up, and you just sleep inside a Metapod. And it's like way too expensive, but I
How
want
much
one.
is it?
It's like $300. But it's it looks comfortable. Like it's big, like a really big plush of like you just zip yourself up inside a Metapod. That's it.
I'll put it up on
It's
the
very
Twitch.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
pictures do it more justice than you could possibly imagine. Like
Yeah.
the droopy looking eyes and this guy who looks kind of despondent in this Metapod outfit.
He's like staring at himself in a mirror, wearing the Metapod suit, just pondering life and what is the meaning of all of this. I love it. I want one. That's all I have. I checked through news and I didn't really find anything that like jumped out at me.
yeah. Well, hey, we got that sweet sweet podcast money, so maybe you can buy yourself a Metapod sleeping bag for Christmas, so you can strangely lay on your side and people could just poke at you.
I never got Green Island. I mean, I've got priorities here.
Oh,
Yeah, Green
Wow.
Island is what, $100? That seems like I thought it was only like 100.
Green Island's 300.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
That's why I
say
haven't
for
bought it.
$100, this seems like a much more reasonable purchase. At 300, ooh, that is a tough conundrum.
Yeah.
that's a pickle.
That's a big Metapod. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I did not get the Pokemon memo for my news thing, but this is more of like a hot new release that I just wanted to share because, as everyone knows, there's two directors I love, one of which is Masaki Yuasa, who's directed everything good in the known universe. And on the other side, in the dark universe, as Floyd tells us, is Akiyuki Shinbo in Studio Shaft. And they announced that they are doing a show called Pretty Boy Detective Club. And it's based on a novel and manga series, which are licensed by Vertical. And what I know about the Pretty Boy Detective Club is that there's 3 rules to be in it. One, you have to be pretty. 2, you have to be a boy. And 3, you have to be a detective, which seems to fit all the criteria of the club title. I have
And
no idea.
4, nobody talks about Pretty Boy Detective.
Yeah. Rule 5, nobody talks about Pretty Boy Detective
Yeah.
Club. Based on what I can tell, this is just going to be another Outburst Dreamer Boy. Or Dream Boy, I forgot what it was called, but I think there was like 8 people who ever watched that show. But nonetheless, it was a ton of fun. So I just want more of that with like a ton of dialogue and puns. So I don't know. I'm excited for the show. It's coming out 2021, not in the winter. So we'll get to that later. But it will be exciting, and I'm excited for it. Hype. There
It
we
looks
go.
really fun, so I'm excited too.
There's so much just good
Shinbo.
shit coming out. I mean, it went. Things are coming around. Like we had a couple tough seasons, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna talk
We
about
paid
that
our
sooner.
dues, and
Yeah, we did.
I guess we'll just jump right into it. So our main topic this episode is winter 2021 is coming right around the corner. I know we were recording this in mid-November, and we've only just crossed the mark, like the halfway mark of the fall 2020 season. But despite all the good shows that are currently out, the air is starting to get cold, and this behemoth of a season that is winter 2021 is right around the corner, and it's got us hyped for what is to come in early January. So if you get our show notes by subscribing to the content, you can see this massive list that we've made of all the shows that are coming out, the sequels, the new stuff, the movies, and we've kind of marked and linked what we are the most excited for. So I figured maybe we could start with kind of, I don't know, Mitz, if you want to go through the questions you pose or just kind of talking about what we are individually most excited for.
Well, I think we should just go in the order that it is on the outline because I think it makes
Okay.
sense like that. It is the season of sequels, people, and it's like it's almost like when like too many video games come out at once. It's like you can't buy them all, but we can watch all them. We can watch them all because you're not really paying for each thing. But get this, people: Attack on Titans is coming out with its final season. The Promised Neverland season 2, Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars, the Reincarnated as a Slime season 2, ReZero is coming out with the second half of season 2, Beastars season 2, Cells at Work season 2, and Cells at Work Code Black. So, whatever the hell. I guess that's like a season 2.5. Log Horizon season 3, Seven Deadly Sins season 4, and I think that's the final season of that. I think. Yudu Camp season 2, Non Non Biori season 3, Quintessential Quintuplet season 2, World Trigger season 2, Bungo Stray Dogs Orphan season 2, and Azure Lane. So good God, it's insanity. I mean, what the hell? We're gonna end up not watching something very for the podcast very good next season, I imagine. So, so guys, what are you the most hyped for? Why don't we? I'll start with Mandy.
Me? Do you want me to go through all of them?
You just
All the
throw
ones
out,
that I'm excited for?
just throw out a couple.
The ones that you're most excited for.
Just throw out a
I'm
couple.
excited for Attack on Titan, although I'm not the biggest Attack on Titan fan because it took me a while to really get into it, but this past season was really good, so I'm excited to see where it goes past that, and I'm also kind of wary because I don't know anything about it. Nobody has spoiled me, but we'll see how it continues. But so far, like, sorry,
How long was the last season?
2 core, right?
Yeah, it was split into, I think, maybe I'm confusing it with Haikyuu.
24?
I thought the first part was maybe 11, but let me double check. But yeah,
Well,
it was 2 core essentially.
I know I've been instructed to catch up, and where I left off on Attack on Titan was where, like, the big Titan, the giant Titan's like stomping towards the city, and they're all chasing him on horses and shit. I don't know if that was like a whole season behind, or if that was just one core behind. But
We only watched half the core, like the first part of it, for the
Okay.
podcast. We reviewed that part, but we didn't
Okay.
review the second part.
oh, so I'm only like 12 episodes behind then. That's not so bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. What
Yeah,
else,
and
Mandy?
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Promised Neverland season 2. I'm excited to see where that goes. I am now kind of excited to watch more ReZero because I actually kind of liked what we reviewed, and I don't know. I'm curious to see if they'll answer all my questions because the first part of that core left off in a cliffhanger. So we'll see. Beastars second season, of course. I'm very excited for more Beastars
Yes.
because
Yes.
now
that's
we
the
get
right
more
answer.
Dear Gang. And I'm excited for both Cells at Work. I actually really love Cells at Work. I think it's I've always found like biology a very interesting subject, and I like that you can learn more about the body and your immune system in just a really fun way. So I'm excited for that, and I'm actually excited for the third season of Log Horizon because it's been a while since season 2, so I'm probably gonna need a little refresher on what happened. I
Mhm.
remember I really liked season 1. Season 2 was okay. I wasn't as impressed by season 2, but I think the light novel goes pretty far though. So I don't know. I'm excited to see it come back because I think out of all of like the isekai, video game isekai, it's one of the better ones. So
I
I'm excited about
totally
it.
missed out on Log Horizon. I mean, I haven't seen anything. Like, it's
I really love the guild like politics inside of Log Horizon. Like I think those parts are actually really well done, especially when they're like needing to get together with the other guilds for raids and kind of like all of the politics behind it. I don't know. I thought the first season was really well done, and second season there were some parts in it that were like, I don't know about this. It's starting to get like I don't know if we'll ever get an answer for why all these people just suddenly got sucked into their game, but I felt like it was going in a very weird direction. We'll see in season 3. So
I could see Mitz really digging Log Horizon season 1 for like a lot of the economic parts of
Yeah.
it. Like they run it like a
Ooh.
business, and it's pretty interesting. And I really enjoyed season 1,
Mhm.
and everyone's like, season 2, it's not really satisfying. It doesn't end on a great spot. It's kind of just like I kind of was dissuaded from watching it. But now that season 3 will hopefully kind of carry the torch and answer a lot of those questions, now I'm like, oh, I can finally watch season 2 knowing that I might get an answer in the future. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that season 3 is coming out. But
same.
because I didn't watch 2, I didn't mark it as exciting for me. My shows are Attack on Titan final season, though I have a lot of reservations. Promised Neverland season 2, though I have a lot of reservations.
whoa. I mean, what reservations? You can't just, we need the team, Mason.
I think we'll get to that when we get to our predictions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dr. Stone, I'm excited for. I think that is going to be the most consistent show of these. I think whatever I felt about season 1, I think I'll like about the same moving forward. I just am expecting the same level of quality. Like Mandy said, ReZero season 2 part 2. A lot of my problems with the first part was they threw a lot of balls up in the air, and now we need to see if they can juggle it. But I'm expecting to like it more. And of course, Beastar's second season, far and away of the sequels, the one I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, for me, it's
Oh, and Eurocamp. Sorry, I forgot that one. It was way at the bottom.
I need to catch up on Attack on Titan, but I didn't really mark that. I mean, I guess I haven't been all that into Attack on Titan since the beginning of it, and I watched
Season
most.
3 part 2, Mitz.
Haven't watched that yet.
It's 10 episodes long. It's not even 12. It's just 10 episodes, and it is the best the franchise has ever been.
Okay. All right. Well. All right. Well, I have third parties that would like me to finish it so I could watch the final season with them. So I should catch up. So I gotta make the lady happy. So I don't know. I'm still not excited though. Maybe I would be, but Promised Neverland. I had a lot of mixed feelings about Promised Neverland, but I do find it the most sort of unpredictable show out of all of these. I'm excited for the slime anime, but I think I know what that's gonna do. I'm excited for ReZero, but I know what I'm gonna get from that. Beastars I'm excited for, but I'm pretty sure. I'm a little less sure, but I feel like I'm pretty sure like I know what Beastars is. Dr. Stone is. It's gonna be
Animal
bad.
gangs.
It's gonna be badass. Senku's gonna have his little rifle, and he's gonna be like making gunpowder and shit. He's gonna have his little leek colored hair, and yeah. But like Promised Neverland, I just don't know. Like they're in they're on the other side of the wall that they miraculously made it over the chasm, and it's like, are they gonna find people, animals, fucking demons? Are they gonna find nothing? I just don't know. I don't know shit about it. So I don't know. It's very, very sort of mysterious. I'm really not that excited for Cells at Work. Like, I think the concept of Cells at Work is pretty genius, I think I've seen enough Cells at Work. I'm more intrigued by Code Black, but something in me tells me that it's not going to be, it's like, ooh, it's Code Black. It's supposed to be like, ooh, it's like Black the gum with nicotine in it. It's so, ooh, like gritty and edgy, yeah. But it's just not gonna be. It's gonna be Cells at Work, but they're gonna talk about like HIV instead of like the common cold. It's gonna be, oh, I got a smoking. That's what it's gonna be. That it's gonna be like that. It's not gonna. It could be edgy, but I don't think it will be. I want it to be, but I don't expect it. If it is, I'll be happy. I don't think they're going to have people shooting up heroin and they're going to be like, oh, this is what heroin does to your brain. Like, I just don't see it going that far. So, and I don't know, but but we'll see. But man, there's so many shows here. I noticed no one's excited for Seven Deadly Sins. I guess it's because we don't watch it.
Yeah, none of us are following up with it, though I'm sure people who have been following the franchise are just as hyped.
And the other one on here that none of us really marked was Quintessential Quintuplets, even though I know that that's become very popular. So,
I have not seen season 1. It doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but nonetheless, I guess I haven't given it a fair shake yet, so who knows?
Mandy, you're not hyped for Orphan?
Oh, yeah.
It's so
sorry,
terrible.
I forgot to click it.
It's so terrible. Season 4. Can we just please put Orphan to bed? Oh,
Yeah.
Bury him with his little red headband, and his sword, and just call it a day. How about these new shows, guys? What is piquing your interest here on these new shows?
Me first?
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Horimiya a lot because I actually really love that manga. Although, I'm going to assume the first season is probably going to be 12 episodes. I was trying to think of where it would end, and I think it would end before the part of the manga where I started to get a little less enthusiastic about it, because there is a part where the main couple kind of like their whole story kind of comes to an end and it starts focusing on side characters, and I was like, I don't really care about any of these side characters, and I started to lose interest in it. but actually really love the first beginning of Horimiya. I think it's a really well done romance where there's no like will they won't they. It's about an actual couple and their developing relationship, and it gets a little bit more mature than what you would expect from like a shonen romance series. So I don't know. I'm really excited for that. And this one that I didn't know about that Mason put down while I was looking through all of these, bottom tier character Tomozaki looks really cute and fun.
What is that about?
It's
I
from
think
what I
it's
was
going to be
looking up-
kind of like Wotakoi, in my opinion.
yeah,
Sorry,
it's
go ahead.
about it's about this guy who really loves games. He's known as like the best gamer in Japan, but he doesn't really understand life and he kind of has trouble getting through it, but then he meets a girl who is also a gamer and kind of gives him tips on life in like how to look at them in the perspective of a gamer. So I don't know. It looks interesting. It is based off a light novel though, which I don't know. Sometimes it can be a little iffy for me. I'm not the biggest fan of light novels, but we'll see.
Other shows I'm excited for is 243, the volleyball show, because it's more volleyball and it looks well done enough. Other Side Picnic or Sakai Picnic seems like it could be wild. It's like an adventure, fantasy, mystery, sci-fi show, but it's done by the same people who did like Kase-san and the Morning Glories and Frag Time, and it seems to maybe have some eerie undertones. So
Frag Time.
maybe if they're going towards that again, it could be really cool. And obviously, yeah, bottom tier is Mandy mentioned are the three kind of new shows that I'm seeing potential in.
There's not a whole lot else from me that I'm pretty excited about, but there's just a couple that I thought were kind of different. The spider anime, the Soma Spider, like what of it sounds interesting. I guess like if someone gets killed and they get reincarnated as a spider, and they're just like trying to, I guess it's an isekai. It kind of it feels like one.
It's
So
based off of manga.
There's a lot of isekai coming out
yeah.
as well.
So I don't know.
Although
It's just,
this spider one, I think is all 3D, I believe. From
oh,
what I remember
wow.
of the PV, unless they've changed that since then. But the PV was all like the spider
Well.
was CG, 3D CG. Sorry.
Well, I guess in that case it kind of depends on who does it, but I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's like we've done so many isekai now that we're just gonna like put people in as just random animals. I was reincarnated as a tree. That time I became a tree, and people were just gonna like, you know, it's like I don't.
So there's one about a guy who gets reincarnated as a vending machine.
What?
And there's another one about a guy who gets reincarnated
Oh my
as a hot spring, and girls get inside of him.
No,
There's
they
all kinds
don't.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them.
What the fuck? Why?
There's loads of isekai
Oh my
out there.
God.
Everything you can think of, somebody has been reincarnated as.
And it's just monologues of like him talking about boobs floating in his water and shit like that.
I don't know. I've never read it, but
It can't
Sure
be
you haven't.
it can't be it can't be anything but perverted. I mean, it's
there's the one with the guy who gets reincarnated in a fantasy world, buck naked is what it's called, and he can't wear clothes.
like he's buck naked. Is he buck wild?
That's the name of it, buck naked.
What the fuck?
There's the one about the guy who gets reincarnated into a fantasy world and opens up a pizza parlor with his elf bride.
Oh, that sounds cute.
It does sound cute.
Oh
I
my-
don't want to read that one.
God, last night we got pizza. It was my cheat day, and pizza with pepperoni, bacon, and onions, and garlic knots on the side, and we were eating it with ranch dressing. And made the mistake of going upstairs for a little while, and came back down later that night, and the dog sleeping behind me devoured half the pizza and all the garlic knots. I was unhappy about that.
How's he doing? How's the dog feeling?
She is laid up. She's so guilty. Like, she came upstairs and was just like, we took one look at her and was like, what happened? What did she do? She can't even look at the pizza box now. If I just hold it up in my hand, she looks at it, looks at me, and then just like puts her head down and like walks away and looks like she's just,
I think anyone would do that if they had half a pizza, though.
Oh my God. It is good though. The other one for me, this anime might totally suck, but I'm kind of intrigued by the description, is that skate anime. The
The animation actually looks pretty good in the PV.
Skate with an 8, like the number instead of.
Skater
Yeah.
boys.
Yes, she said,
Yeah.
"See you later, boy."
It's Studio Bones. I mean, I feel like Studio Bones is pretty good usually. I mean, I guess it's like this bullshit sport they call S, which is like code word for this sport where they like skate inside of this abandoned mine shaft or something. And it's, I don't know, I kind of view it as almost like one of those video games where I don't know, they've had all kinds of weird video games where you do downhill. There have been like ESPN, like X
Tony
Games,
Hawk?
Tony Hawk and X Games and Cloud snowboarding down the hill in Final Fantasy 7 and all this bullshit. So I don't know, it just seems like a fun idea.
It's
It could
gotta be better than that parkour show.
Oh my god.
That was a rough one. That you mentioned earlier that I'm a Spider Isekai one. That's done by Crunchyroll, and I don't think they have a studio announced. I think they're just as a producer. So
Well,
TBD.
Yeah, TBD on that. I'm a little less excited knowing that, but and the other one is Hortensia Saga. I don't know. It just seems like I enjoy these like military fantasy shows pretty well, and it's the description is somewhat like what you get from like Arslan Senki or something like that, where the king is betrayed and murdered, and there's a political upheaval, and then there's a war, quest to save the homeland, stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. So, and the character designs look pretty nice. So, but man, what a season! What a season! Oh, and there's more. Good lord, there's movies.
There's just a couple movies I wanted to bring up. I don't know when we're actually going to get them. The ones I was excited for was the first of the 6 Princess Principal movies. I really liked that series. That was a lot of fun. And the Seitokai Yakundomo movie 2 is coming out, which is a pretty fun series that I'll probably talk about next week. But there's one I think that Mandy wants to share.
Mandy put 5 stars next to this one instead of the usual 1 star.
The Gintama movie comes out next year or this winter, and I'm so excited. I probably won't get to watch it till next year. It depends on.
Probably.
I probably won't get to see it for a very long time because it takes us forever to get Japanese movies over here. But
Yeah, sure.
I'm excited, and it's supposed to be the end, the final. We'll see.
Oh?
It says the final in
Yeah.
all caps, and I've never believed anything less in my life. There's no way this is the
And
end.
before it's just all dick jokes, so I'm excited.
But yeah, I mean, we also have the new Eva movie 4.0 coming out, and
Fucking finally. God.
Yeah, it's about time. So
Good lord.
Thrice Upon a Time it is called. So we will see how Studio Kara and Ano deliver that. But I think we wanted to do a quick rundown of our predictions so we can look foolishly back on this episode in a couple months and reflect on how bad we are at guessing the future.
Yes. Scribes, get your pens out. So the first category is highest rated anime, new or sequel. And I mean, in sense, you really need like a quantitative measure to do this. We're just using them like we're going by MAL score. Which anime will have the highest MAL score? Mandy, we'll just keep it going in this order.
Oh, I think ReZero will. Because I don't know. Comparing Attack on Titan to ReZero, I don't know what the scores are like. But
I can tell you what they're
ReZero.
like if you want.
They're very high.
Sure.
So Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2, the latest one is like at a 9.07.
Damn.
And ReZero Season 2 Part 1 is like at an 8.65 maybe. I'm going by some when I made these predictions earlier in the week. So right now Attack on Titan has like a 0.4 lead on it.
It's changing studios though.
It's changing studios. I think Season 2 Part 2 of ReZero will answer and improve on a lot of the questions, and I think the fans are absolutely ride or die with that series. And also, anime tend to kind of sometimes fumble the ending, and with the Attack on Titan manga not fully over and this being touted as the final Attack on Titan season, some
No, I think
people
it's over. I think Attack on Titan's over.
I think
Manga.
it had like 1 or 2% like left to go. I could be wrong.
I thought for sure it was over.
let's double check. Either way, I think some people might be a little, as someone who has not read the manga at all, might be a little like skeeved with how it ends. So I'm guessing ReZero is going to pull an upset and be the highest rated show.
Well, I'm just gonna stay with the incumbent. I think it's gonna be Attack on Titan. So, I think people know where Attack on Titan is going. I think it's close to being done, is it not? And people still love the shit out of it. So there hasn't been any kind of fallout yet. They're awfully close to the end. I don't see a reason why I should predict it's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't. That would be so disappointing. So I think Attack on Titan. Although Dr. Stone has had a pretty high review too from the last season. It has a shot. I don't know where it's going.
It's possible.
It was like 8.4 range, so it's in the conversation. But yeah, we'll have to see. I know Attack on Dr. Stone might be. God, almost 800,000 people watched the last one. That's so many. God. I will love this anime the most. What do you guys think, Mandy?
Out of everything, either Horimiya or Beastars 2. I don't know what Beastars is like past where season 1 ended, because that's as far as I got in the manga. But so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think Beastars has the better chance of being my favorite, but I also already know that I love Horimiya, so both of those I think will be my favorites.
I went with Beastars second season as from the sequel anime, and from the new shows, I went with bottom tier character Tomozaki. I think that's got a lot of potential.
I just love the title of that anime. It sounds very. It's just, I don't know. The title is humorous, and I always appreciate that. I think for me it's Dr. Stone. Like I've been literally counting the days since the last season, and I haven't done that in a long time. I'm pretty jaded, and I haven't counted the days till an anime came out in a long time. Normally I'm surprised. It's like, oh, this anime, I didn't even know what it was, and it was good. But like Dr. Stone, I really wanted season 2. So, and so that was probably obvious to begin with. What do you guys think is going to be the disappointment of this next season? Because there's so many sequels, so many expectations, but as things tend to drag on in their seasons, they tend to be not as good. So, what do you guys think?
I didn't put anything down. I like to think positively.
Woo!
So I didn't want to put anything down.
I have no qualms with having reservations, and the biggest one is probably The Promised Neverland Season 2. I think Season 1 was a blast, but like Mitt said, with it ending kind of with them in a completely new environment, I'm not sure how it will go. I maybe could see it losing steam, and I just have my reservations with it. As far as the new shows, Kimono Jihen is like the big stylish shonen that's going to be coming out, and I think it kind of could do well if it had a lot of visual flair behind it, but I think it will fall a little bit flat. So there you go.
I think it's going to be the slime anime, the reincarnated as a slime. It's I felt it kind of losing momentum and losing its way at the end of that first season. I have no idea where it's going, and if it just ends up being more of the same, I could see people losing interest and being disappointed. So frankly, I'm kind of surprised it even got a second season. I kind of thought they got the point across in the first season. So, but despite that, I still want it to be good, of course, and I want it to, be fun. What is the sleeper hit, guys? What is the unexpected excitement?
I'm not sure. I think I would put down maybe the bottom tier one because, yeah, I could definitely see that being. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like Wotakoi. It doesn't look like it's the same level of like adult, like adult gamer nerd stuff that Wotakoi is. But because I think this one is set in high school, so it's not going to hit the same crowd. But I still think that it might be a sleeper hit because I haven't heard anybody talk about the light novel, and apparently it also has a manga. So I don't know. We'll see. It's weird that I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, I think the sleeper hit will be one of the isekais, probably the jobless reincarnation one. That one seems to have some potential, and I think the show Redo of Healer is going to make a lot of waves when it drops. I don't think it will be a good show, but I think kind of like a Goblin Slayer situation where it gets a lot of discussion in the community. So keep an eye out on that one.
I really don't know. For me, I mean, I think the concept of the spider one is kind of interesting, and I think that it's an isekai, which tend to generally have a lot of appeal. So I just went with that, but I mean, I don't really know. That's about it, guys. That's a pretty good rundown. I'm just pumped. Like, there's so much good shit, and I just wonder out of the 9 shows we end up reviewing, I wonder how many of them will be sequels and how many won't be.
I also believe, because when I googled this is what they said. I don't know if it's true because something could have been delayed because of COVID, but it does say that that the Uzumaki is supposed to be coming out on Netflix December 1st. That's what it says. We'll see if it happens.
I'll believe it when I see it, but boy, do I want to see it.
So if it does, that will be my favorite out of everything.
That'll be good.
Let's hope.
No, that will beat out Beastars holding me at everything for me.
If it's like the other Junji Ito collection?
No, if it's not like that, no. Well, I have very high hopes for this one.
As do I. I feel like they've been working on it for a long enough time where they'll do it right. But we will see. Nonetheless, let us know what you guys are interested in. And I think we should move on to our news break and trivia.
Okay.
Do we have music?
Of course we do.
Alrighty, well, we are about to go on break, and for our trivia question, we have in the show The God of High School, what is the name of the sword style that Mira Yu is the master of, and what number master is she? Ponder it, and we'll answer it after the break.
Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, and I'm bringing you your anime news. Starting off with the new anime announcement, Dayate Gobyo Day Battle, or translated in English as Battle in 5 Seconds After Meeting. The manga written by Saizo Harawata is getting an anime adaptation. The story is about Akira Shioyanagi, who's dragged into a battlefield by a mysterious girl, and the participants are told that they are, quote, erased from the family register, involved in an experiment, and have gained certain powers, and Akira has the goal to use his newfound powers to destroy the organization that placed him in this situation. Armed with his new, quote, brain skills, an intelligence battle begins. So if you're a fan of battle anime, check out the Battle in 5 Seconds After Meeting, which will be coming out sometime soon, but no date is currently known for it. Next up, there was some statue reveals for Attack on Titan recently, and Isayama, the creator of Attack on Titan, spoke at the event and said that the manga is 1 to 2% away from completion, and that he is, quote, arranging the pieces on the field of Attack on Titan like shogi, a Japanese chess game. So if you're a fan of Attack on Titan, the ending sounds pretty awesome, and he's close to finishing it, so you may not have to wait much longer to get the completion of that. Next up, well, this past week was a big one for gaming as both the Xbox and PlayStation 5 launched, and it's pretty much impossible to get them anywhere. The demand for the PlayStation 5 was so high on Thursday when it came out that it actually crashed the Walmart website and caused error messages to pop up for shoppers, and Microsoft heralded the Xbox as, quote, the biggest launch in its history, which is exciting for Xbox fans. And it looks like the demand is so high that if you go to eBay, as has been the trend in prior years, you can find a PlayStation 5 for $32,000 and about $8,000 for a new Xbox. So who knows if anybody would really pay 60 times the price for something like a PlayStation 5. But I think it just goes to show that gaming has become more popular than ever, especially in a pandemic era where everybody's staying inside, probably playing a lot of video games. And if you're looking for an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, you may have to wait a while, probably into the new year, in order to get one. Finally, for this news break, due to COVID, one of the biggest anime conventions in the United States has been canceled. That is KatsuCon, which had about 22,000 attendees in 2019, says that they have canceled the event due to the pandemic, and they're going to aim to hold the event again in 2022. The cancellation is the first in the 27 years of this particular convention. So if you are a fan of KatsuCon or you live in Maryland, I apologize, but KatsuCon has been canceled and will be coming again in a later year, so look forward to it. You'll be able to go to your convention again later on. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, as always, time to get back to the podcast right now. Hanging in there, guys. Haven't lost my voice yet. Yeah, as I pour more Monster. We started a thing on the Discord. I feel like I get a couple photos every week now of people drinking Monster. We really should be sponsored by Monster. If only we were skateboarders or parachuters. In the show, The God of High School, what is the name of the sword style that Mita is the master of, and what number master is she? She is the 25th master of the Moonlight Sword style. Very Mikazuki or something. Alright. Well, from, of course, God of High School, which we're going to be reviewing here very shortly on the podcast for you. Listener choice selection from a couple seasons ago. But first, as we always do, well, I guess I should say now, as we often do, we have Mandy's Manga Minute. Mandy, are you ready to predict the future?
I am.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. This one is called Eminon. And I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. But Eminon is based off of a best-selling novel by Shinji Kaijo. And the manga is by Kenji Tsuruta. And Kenji Tsuruta also did the manga Wandering Island, which I did in a past Manga Minute. It's been a while, though. But Eminon is the story of birth and rebirth. It follows this woman named Eminon, whose name spelled backwards is no name. And that's because Eminon contains memories for the past 3 billion years, since life was first created on Earth. And every time Eminon reproduces, the memories pass on into the first child. And so Eminon lives on and experiences many different lives. And doing so, they don't really actually have a name because their form is constantly changing. So then Eminon decided to take the name No Name and spell it backwards to come up with a name for themselves. But the memories of Eminon focus on, which is the name of this first volume, focuses on her meeting a man aboard a ship in 1967 and telling him all about her history and leaving it up to him to decide whether or not he believes her. And Eminon ponders the meaning of life and leaves you, the reader, questioning how would you be able to cope with the memories that encompass everything from the origination of life, and never really experiencing true death and watching the world change around you. The art in this manga is done in an almost very sketchy style. Let's see if I can find a good picture for those watching live. But it's done in a very sketchy style with a very almost more realistic look to it. And the first volume, Memories of Eminon, is one complete story, and then they decided to carry it on into Eminon the Wanderer. Wanderer. That's a hard word to say. Wanderer. But so if you get this in English, it does say volume 1 down at the bottom. That's because they're just wrapping the entire series up into one in the English translation. So volume 2 will be Eminon the Wanderer, and then so on. But I believe altogether it's 3 volumes, I think. But I do recommend it, though. If you need more action or comedy, that's not going to be in here. This is a very cerebral experience and really gets you thinking about just what is the meaning of life in general, and how would you deal with life as a sort of immortal? Like, I don't know, just how would you deal with knowing all the people that you fall in love with over time leave you, and you just constantly pass down your memories into each generation? So it's interesting. It's a little bit slower paced, but I'm really enjoying it, and I would like to continue it for sure.
One more time, what was that called, Mandy, for people at home?
Emanon, and if you take no name and flip it around backwards, that's the name of the series. If you're looking for the spelling.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Mandy. And shall we move on to our mailbags, which we always do every week?
I think so.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. Of course, guys, again, if you want to leave us a mailbag, you can do it on the website, aaapodcast.com/join. You can click that mailbag button right along the top. It'll take you to a place where you can submit mailbags, your anime Shark Tanks, your topic requests, retro reviews, just about anything. You know, it's a great place for you to come and contribute to the show and help us out. So head over there to our website and leave us a mailbag or whatever else you want to do.
You might even be able to do a fall 2020 listener poll while you're over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if the IT guys fix things quickly enough.
Allegedly.
Otherwise, just go to Discord for that. All right, so SB Nova writes a mailbag. Thank you very much. What production team would you like to see adapt a manga that doesn't have an anime yet? For example, I think Spy X Family, done by the team that did Kaguya-sama, would be great.
Well, you're not wrong. That would be great.
Who
I
wants
guess
to begin?
I can go first. Obligatory, anything by Taiyo Matsumoto, such as his Sunny series or Takemitsu Samurai, adapted by Masaki Yuasa, would be amazing. Originally, I had Pluto adapted by Masayuki Kojima, the guy who did Monster and Master Keaton, but then Mandy informed me that there actually already is a Pluto anime coming out by Studio M2. No news on when it's coming out, but thank you, Mandy, for already correcting that for me.
There's a teaser out there. It's a very, very short teaser, but I don't know. They have had some progress done on it.
Yeah,
no
and
news
it's
on
allegedly by some like Dream Team studio, like made for his work specifically and give it the effort it needs. So I'm excited. So take all the time you want on that, people. We deserve it. One that might, I think, be up Mitsu's alley is Yomawari Sensei, adapted by Yoriyuki Abe, the guy who did Great Teacher Onizuka. It's a very similar teacher going around dealing with troubled students and kind of trying to help rehab them in ways. It's kind of interesting and cool. And finally, Lone Wolf and Cub, one of the best of all times, by Hiroshi Hamasaki, the guy who did Blade of the Immortal and Shigurui. But all of these shows deserve an actual budget, so those would be my picks.
There's only one great teacher.
True.
Me.
So. Ooh.
Oh. I'm just kidding. I can't teach anybody anything.
When I was in Japan, I used to pretend like I was the great teacher.
I bet.
It was.
Did you go to school with a pompadour and?
No, but he did like drop kick Crestos out of like the 4th floor windows and just ruin cars.
Let's see. I did have a lot of troublemaker classes, and in one of the classes, I did walk in and slam my books down on top of the podium once, just like Onizuka did.
Wasn't there that one scene where he had like the big elephant around his waist and sprayed water?
He sprayed water. Yeah, that was like, yeah. He sprayed
You should wear that.
I'm like, I think I would have been fired, probably.
Well, if you were on fire, that's perfect for the water spraying elephant.
I said if I lived in a very magical world where I could just get my wish, I want KyoAni to adapt Witch Hat Atelier for sure. Because the art in that manga is so gorgeous that it needs a team that would be able to give it all the details that it requires. Or, yeah, I don't know. That one would be so fantastic. It is definitely going to get an anime eventually, for sure. The manga's already won awards and it's so popular already. It's just a question on who's going to get it. And if I had my way, it would be KyoAni. Plus, I think that their character designs would match up with the character designs in Atelier very well. But yeah. Also, I don't know. I don't have a team, but I really want Corpse Delivery Service to get an anime. I don't know who would do it though, but I feel like that manga needs an anime for sure.
Where are they delivering the corpses?
Wherever the corpse wants to go.
Oh,
We did the manga for our like spooky October month, and it's a very interesting series. It's very episodic. It's about a team of um, college kids who each have a different kind of power that helps them in communicating with the dead, and they find like corpses all over, from like murder victims to people who just died in some place and all kinds of stuff. And they have a guy there who can speak to them, and they're trying, like, they all work together with all of their different abilities to take the corpse to wherever they want to go to rest for sure, forever. But it's interesting. I think with its episodic nature, it definitely needs an anime. I think it would be better suited in animation than it is in the manga.
I don't I don't really read manga, guys. For as many animes I've seen very few. I've read very few manga. I mean, and it's been a long time. So I'm almost not even suitable to answer this mailbag, but I've mentioned this before several times, but I still really like Onani Master Kurosawa. I did reread that, actually. It's short, but I did reread that like a few months ago. It's still really good, you know. I'm not really sure who the right studio would be for it, but I like Cloverworks pretty well, so maybe Cloverworks would do a good job. They did a nice job with was it the Bunny Girl show that they did? So I like Onani Master's good. So that's about it. But again, thanks for the mailbag. And if you want to submit a mailbag over at aaapodcast.com/ I guess maybe it's /mailbag. I'm not really sure. Just go to the website and you can leave us a mailbag. So, all right, the time has come.
I think so. Time to talk about The God of High School. So this is a summer 2020 show that was a listener choice that won the poll. This is streaming over on Crunchyroll, and if you've seen the show, they make sure you know it. What is this show about? Well, it is a Korean manhwa, which you can read this over on the Webtoons app, which is also highly prevalent in the show, and it's done by Studio Mappa. But the show itself takes place. It's a fighting tournament that takes place in Korea, and they're looking for the best fighter amongst all high school. And high school has a bit of a loose definition for who can participate, but it's a fighting tournament. Our main character is Mori Jin, who specializes in Taekwondo, and he's in this tournament to find strong opponents. He makes friends with a few of his fellow competitors, two people named Dawe and Mira, and I'm sorry if I butcher any of the names along the way. And essentially, as they compete in this tournament, they learn that ulterior motives are kind of in place for this whole institution and why they have these people fighting, and it kind of just blossoms into stuff that we will discuss in spoiler territory. But nonetheless, it's a fighting show adapted by Korean manhwa, done by Studio Mappa, and that's kind of what you need to know going into it. What did you guys know going into the show, and what were your expectations? We'll start with Mitsugi.
I knew it was a fighting show because you guys did an impression on it. I knew people liked it pretty well because there was pushback when we didn't pass it, and because it won the listener choice poll like by an absurd margin. And I knew it was a Crunchyroll anime, and I knew it was a manhwa. So I don't know. I feel like my experiences with manhwa so far haven't been all that have been mixed, I guess I would say. And Crunchyroll's animes so far haven't really been all that impressive to me. So I think I was kind of like, I don't think I expected much. So, but we'll see. I mean, but I didn't know much about it. But I mean, like, from what I heard from you guys, it's just a fighting show. So I expected there to just be like lots of fighting.
Gotcha. And Mandy?
I didn't know anything going into it except that it was a manhwa, and it's one of the Crunchyroll originals. And I do actually think it's really cool that they are animating manhwas, because there are some good ones out there that I think would be great to see in animation. So I was just excited just that they're continuing this, and that we're seeing a wider variety of just manhwas coming over. So, but that's all I knew about it. I didn't know anything about the actual story or anything.
Yeah, I knew, like they said, it's a pure fighting show, which are not really my type of things. I've tried watching Baki or Kengan Ashura, and it's just not quite what I'm looking for out of shows. Like Mandy said, this is one of like the trio that Crunchyroll kind of brought over from the manhwa world with Tower of God and Noblesse. So it's kind of in that batch of trying to get inspiration for anime from other avenues, I guess, which I think is a great idea. And I watched episode 1 back when it aired. I thought it was kind of flashy and fun, but I got the feeling that it was really all about the fight. So, spoiler-free recommendations. Mitz, what'd you think?
I like the flashiness of it. Like right off the bat, I got that sense. Episode 1 had they were trying to set the tone with a certain kind of style that I assumed that they would carry throughout the whole show. There's just like a lot of characters that they're trying to make look really cool. They're trying to give you they're trying to give you like, it's hard to describe. It's almost like that they're trying to generate the it factor, sort of like they want to have an anime that just like carries the oomph with it. It's like they want to have like the cool characters, the bebop style, not in the same like sense that it's like westerns or whatever, but and I thought they did a pretty good job with that. Like I think a lot of the characters are pretty neat, and like the opening video, the theme song is good. I like the theme song a lot. The anime itself it's hard to recommend. I mean, it's just nonsense. I mean, there's like no story whatsoever. I mean, if there is, it's like you're really reaching for it hard. I mean, I'm not really sure what the hell the point was. It's a little hard to recommend. I think really the show is a good recommendation for people who just want to watch some good fights with some decent choreography. I really think like the strength of the show was when they were doing like hand-to-hand combat scenes of like, the different martial arts in it, because the show does have decent animation and especially when it's needed, and some of the fight choreography is really interesting to watch with all the kicks and stuff that they're throwing. But it does kind of devolve into this nonsense of like transforming into like gods and fucking guys are coming down from the sky, and it quickly becomes not a martial arts anime. And
gods in my high school, who would have seen this coming?
Charyuks or whatever. So yeah, I mean, like it will probably appeal to like the MMA people for a while, but then it's gonna just devolve into nonsense, and then it won't be interesting anymore. And that's kind of how it was with me. So it's a tough recommendation. You're almost better off just watching like Hajime no Ippo if you want to watch like fighting in a ring, or shadow skill or something a little more hand to hand instead of just like, people transforming into like animals and shit. So I probably wouldn't recommend it. Not generally.
There you go. Mandy?
Yeah, I'm about the same. So I had this one for my impressions season, and I failed it because I thought the first 3 episodes had pretty good choreography in the fight scenes. I thought the fight scenes were, like Mitch said, flashy, and they were really well done. And I have a friend who, not mixed martial arts, I can't remember what he's in. I think he used to do a lot of Taekwondo, I think. But he was really into the first 3 episodes, and I was like getting his opinions on it, that he thought the choreography in the first 3 episodes were really well done. He was super into it. And I failed it though because I thought, yeah, the action's good, but that's pretty much all there was to it. And I felt like, which is fine. I would say that if you wanted to like just sit and watch something and pop popcorn and just watch fight scenes, that would be good. But I was like, there's no way I want to do like a review on this. I don't think I'd get a good like discussion out of something that has next to zero story in it. And that's why I failed in the first 3 episodes. And then when it came back, I thought for sure, I was like, you know what, it might be okay, maybe it'll just be fun fights. And I think for the first like 6 episodes it was fine, but then like Mitch said, it just out of nowhere, it seems like everybody gets superpowers in the sixth episode, and it gets so crazy to the point where the I don't want to say I hate saying stakes because I don't want you to think that everything needs like death or anything in it. It's just like so it escalated so much to the point where I could no longer care about the action that was happening because it got so just astronomically ridiculous. And there are parts that just don't make any sense to me at all. Like this tournament in general doesn't make sense to me. And there are parts where I'm like, how does the rest of the world know this is even going on? How come like nobody else cares that things are getting destroyed? It just seems so ridiculous, and everybody seemed like it was so normal, but I like nothing to tell me that this was absolutely normal in apparently South Korea. I was like, is this normal in South Korea? Does this shit happen all the time? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't care about any of the characters, honestly.
Yeah.
And they I hate I hate like saying the designs are bad because I do like different art designs. I like it when series try to do something different out of the box, but I don't know. Everybody looks sick. Everybody has a red nose, and it just was not for me.
Ho ho ho! They're all fucking Santa.
That was really weird, and I'm not a fan of the main character's star eyes either. I don't know, but overall, I thought, man, I just stopped caring after a certain episode. There are some moments in there I was like, this is getting really silly, and I start laughing because when you have people summoning sharks and shit,
Oh my
that
God.
was really funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was just so. It was just too much, and towards the end, I honestly lost the story. And I had no idea what was going on anymore.
Mhm.
It was trying way too much, and it didn't introduce all of this stuff at a pace that made me accept it a bit more. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't really recommend it. I think even if you like action shows, there are better action shows out there. If you want like martial arts, you're only gonna like this for the first few episodes, and past that, I don't even think that you'd care anymore. But yeah. So for me, I don't recommend it. But I guess if you're absolutely starving for action, you could try it out.
Yeah, and you made a good point about the characters not being interesting because the show is always throwing these fucking flashbacks at you. Like, what is your reason for fighting? Oh, like, I don't give a fuck. I just didn't. Like, the characters, there's too many of them, and I don't. It's like, I've seen you for 4 seconds, and now I'm supposed to, like, care about your backstory. It's really hard. Like, it's hard to do. I just don't give a shit.
Nah.
I mean, and they take you out of the fight scenes, which is why you're there in the first place, to give you some backstory about a person who's like, oh, I made a promise to some guy when I was 4 years old, and now I'm 20, but I have to, like, keep my promise because I'm deranged or something. Like, I don't know. No one fucking does that. So it's like they're not believable to begin with, and I don't care. She showed me the guy kicking him in his head, you know.
Yeah, it was really funny. My friend who's really into the first 3 episodes, he messaged me. He doesn't really watch a lot of anime in the first place. He just occasionally watches one. He wrote to me and was like, oh, have you heard of this? Are you guys going to talk about this? Because it's really cool. And I'm really into the fight scenes for this and this and this reason. I was like, well, I was like, but I was interested in his opinion. And then he came back to me a few weeks later. He's like, this show's getting weird. Then the next week, this show got really weird. It's really funny to me.
I'll do a quick version.
Muscle.
So essentially, this show is a 13 episode long AMV. Like, if you just want to see punches with acceptable fight choreography and not really care about the characters that are throwing them, be my guest. I think, like Mitch said, you can find much more enriching avenues of action elsewhere. I will say, comparing it to the manhwa, if you were a fan of the webtoons, I have to imagine you are super pleased by this adaptation. I think it was pretty one-to-one and just took all the panels and gave them a ton of life. What I'm about to say is going to sound insulting, but I assure you that I am saying it with no snidiness. I think this is a fantastic show for like a 10 to 12-year-old or someone who's like young and kind of getting into anime. Like, it looks really stylish. It's really memorable. It doesn't bog down fights with like plot or anything. Like, you can see the characters and easily differentiate them. It has a dub that is passable. There's a bit of blood and some odd names, but overall, like, I think if you were a kid and watch this on like a Saturday morning thing, like, you'd be hyped and like you really wouldn't know what's going on, but you would like watching it. And I think it's best for that kind of audience. But beyond that, I do not recommend the show. So I think with that, we can move to our spoiler-free discussion.
And you know what?
No, not spoiler-free. Spoiler discussion.
I don't think that was really snide at all. I mean, it's like they're anime made for 10s and 12-year-olds. I mean, this was kind of a shonen show. You know, I think you're spot on. You know, it's an.
I just don't want to assume that like, oh, you have to be kind of young or childish or like it's only for that demographic. I just think that's who would be most enthralled by the show.
Okay, moving on.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
Thank you, UDA, for your continued enthusiasm. I don't even know how to give spoilers on this anime.
So this
it's
is
like
where we tilt our head backs and just laugh because of the plot. But there is nonetheless a lot that I think I want to talk about and kind of the issues I had with the show. So if you guys want to start with some more like the plot itself, then and we can use it as a jumping off point. If not, I can just kind of start getting into like the issues I had.
Well, I just want to say I really didn't like the designs on this. Like they're just too out. They're just too out there. Like, people have, you know, anime characters tend to look eccentric sometimes, but like the main guy's got like it's almost like he's wearing scleras on his eyes, and he's got like pluses in them. Like I was like, is this a Trigger? Is this a Studio Trigger anime? Like with all the fucking pluses.
They love those plus stars.
I mean, his eyes were just weird, and then all the noses, and then all the weird like modeling. I saw you made a post on Twitter, Mason, that was pretty funny about how they just kind of like moved his, like kept his face looking straight, but then just rearranged his facial features to make it look like he was looking up.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. But yeah, the designs were just bizarre. You know, I didn't and the modeling inconsistent.
I actually didn't mind like the ears and noses and eyes being a little off. Like it's how they're done. It is somewhat memorable, so I'm fine with that. What really bothered me were the following three things. One, the text and like graphic they use for the God of High School like promotional like logo in show with like a fist and flames. It looked like some like low effort like Limp Bizkit knockoff T-shirt. Like it looked really bad. Later on in the show, someone gets possessed by a nine-tailed fox, and a lot of times they would forget and only give them 8 tails. And there's other moments where
oh really? You're counting? It's
where the choreo was great, but there was one scene like in episode 1 where Mira is facing off against Mansuke, like the handcuffed criminal, and her bokuto, like her wooden sword, gets taken away, so she starts fighting him with her hands and legs, and she kicks him with like a roundhouse kick to the side of his face. And he kind of like catches it. They do like the John Woo, like triple impact. And he kind of like brings his head back into focus, like, ha, I kind of blocked your kick. But if you look at her leg, her kneecap is facing to the left, which means that her hu is facing to the right, like the gouge on the back. But her foot is sticking straight up. Your leg doesn't bend that way. Like, it's little like anatomy things like that just really bugged me. So like, I don't know, like, did that ruin the show? No, absolutely. But honestly, the ears and eyes and like it was fine. It was a lot of the inconsistencies elsewhere that really just grinded my gears. And the in-show webtoons and Crunchyroll product placement, I thought was a little tasteless. If I'm being honest, like with I get Ringside like having sponsors around it, but to have like I don't know.
Crunchyroll was the sponsor for the tournament.
They could have done it a little more subtly. Like, I don't know.
To me, the genre shifting, like mid-show, I guess it wasn't really a tone shifting. Mid-show was what threw me off. I mean, the nine-tailed fox thing, you know, it went from like this cool show where they do martial arts and, you know, everyone has like their own shot to just this fucking nonsense mess where I was almost happier when there was no plot. When the plot was just, I want to win the damn tournament. Mm-hmm. And everybody has a reason, even though I didn't care about 9 out of 10 of the reasons. And then once Nine-Tailed Fox happened, everybody had to have a power to compete with that. And it was like they were ascending in shonen power, like, and before our eyes. And everybody else in the show became kind of irrelevant, except for the Nine-Tailed Fox guy and Jin, I guess.
Yeah, the main character.
I can't do the names are just very hard for me in this. I lost most of them. halfway through, but the and then it was totally gone. Like the tournament just ended, and then who even won the tournament?
Technically, the three people, because
Really?
they were the last one standing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because they have this tournament with a bracket, and all of a sudden they're like, "Ooh, to better like bring out the ulterior motives of this tournament, which is to find this like sacred article called the key, which draws out like latent powers. To best like get that discovered, we're gonna go to a team tournament." So they put the three characters who won the sole preliminaries, Mori, Daiwei, and Mira, into a team, and technically, because they're still quote unquote standing at the end of the final battle, despite the system being in shambles, they are the ones who get their wish granted.
By that you mean like when they're firing nuclear missiles at the country and stuff?
Yes, to find the best high school student. Now, this is after the United States launches nuclear missions at South Korea. That was just in there after, like, the wedding scene. That was just the kind of like whiplash that this show is going through.
I don't know. I get into this place when I'm watching anime, where when it gets to like the blockade battlefront style, just chaos, just whatever they want to have happen happens, and I'm supposed to just like accept it. It doesn't work for me. Like like the guy, he got the key and he was like transformed into a baby, and then he was like an angel of death with lasers and shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like an episode ago, we were like standing in a ring, like with our snappy little shoes. I like Jin's shoes, by the way, in his pants. It just devolves into just chaos, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. And at that point, you're just like watching things move, and you're not even like coherent of what the story is or what the point is of it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's just too hard to really get any enjoyment out of it when I have no idea what's happening, and frankly, no reason to really care. I mean,
I think Mandy made a good point earlier, and to kind of like go into it, there's a crowd at this fighting tournament, and there's one fight where the two characters maybe are beating each other up a little too much, and the crowd was like, "Ooh, should we be encouraging this? Like, is this right? Like, they're fighting maybe a little too aggressively." I'm like, okay, it's a fighting tournament, like, big deal. But then all of a sudden, when these people start summoning like massive sharks and like stand like jesters and are like mutilating people and like everything, the audience is still there. Like, are they cool with it? Like, they seem fine, and they're like, there was just no, I don't know, there was no grounding in the stakes and how they were being wildly changed.
I think it didn't, like, I don't mind series introducing supernatural things. Once again, Hunter x Hunter, my favorite show, my favorite anime. That one does introduce that, but it does so in a way that, in like over time, to the point where once things do get kind of silly and ridiculous, it makes sense. There are all these rules in place so that it introduces you to you slowly and drips it to you in a satisfactory way, where all of a sudden it's not like just slamming it into your face. This one does the transition so quick that I no longer have any idea what the hell is going on. Like, all of a sudden they introduce this key. What does the key do? We don't know. Does it turn people into gods? I don't know. All of a sudden America's launching nukes at South Korea. Why? I don't understand. What the hell's going on? Do they think they're gonna blow up God? I don't know. Now suddenly the main character is like, what was he, like part God or something weird? I don't know. It got so ridiculous so fast. It doesn't introduce it, like, give it to you in a pace where you can slowly accept it, or that it makes sense, and that you still know there are some kind of rule to this world. Like I don't know. It's just weird. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, is this tournament normal? At first, I thought that we went into it as like a completely normal mixed martial arts, just all just everybody against each other, like a big battle royale kind of tournament. And I thought, okay, that's cool. That makes sense. But all of a sudden, I'm like, does South Korea or this world in this anime know that all of this supernatural stuff exists? Because it seems like everybody accepted it so quickly, and I have no idea what's happening.
I feel like we missed 9 episodes of a training arc. Like,
yeah,
they learn about what a superpower is, and the next episode they're using
they have them.
Like the one dude, Mori, like he meets some old dude in the park that's like, oh, if I use like acupuncture in a couple spots, like I can heal you. And he just like says cool, and then the next episode he's doing it, and it's like,
Then we
okay.
have Lu Bu fighting a kraken.
Listen, I can get like the hand waving things when they start like, oh, we have nano machines to monitor your power levels. Like, sure, fine, like I can buy into that. Or like the looseness, oh, the shady tournament director, fine, I can roll with those punches. But the show is so consistent and not exploring anything that if nothing matters, then what do I chew into? And another thing, just a small comment, that like the show wanted to express ideas but didn't ever have a good way of going about it. And going back to episode 1, we get that criminal Mansuk who is like handcuffed, and the showrunners wanted to say, we want to show that he's wearing weighted clothes, that his pants are heavy, maybe
Rock Lee.
like he's only showing a portion of his potential, and maybe he'll take his pants off later and be even faster for like power levels. Great, that's a great shtick. So how do you get the audience to know that his pants are heavy? So what happens is just mid-fight, our main character Mori just sneaks up behind him and just pulls his pants down and says, wow, look at your underwear. And the criminal's like, haha, I'm making a dick joke. And Mori pulls his pants back up and just says, his pants are heavy. Like, that's the avenue they wanted to communicate that by just pulling his pants down and pulling them up and saying, wow, they're heavy pants. Like, there was so many better ways they could have communicated that, and it was full of these like shallow, weird just dialogue moments that offered nothing. Like, it seemed a tiger raised a tiger, or this tanning oil proves I'm a man of the ocean, by like just pointless characters that we'll never meet again, that just fill up the show with this just this noise that contributes nothing to anything.
Yeah.
And it just felt, I don't know.
I actually liked the anime pretty well until about halfway. You know, I was really into, like, because there really are some scenes in it where they're kind of moving the camera around Dawei, I guess, and Jin and Morty Jin, and like they're fighting and they're doing like hand to hand, and then he's throwing his kicks and his triple kick and his blue tornadoes or whatever the shit, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, you know, it's a little unbelievable that they're like able to take so much damage, but you know, it's an anime, and I was enjoying all that, and because I really think the show was shining at that point when it was just simple. You know, it was just this.
They still had super powered moves, but they were doing realistic actions.
I get that I'm not the writer of the story, and I'm not, maybe I'm not the right audience or whatever, but to me, like, the human spirit and the drive to win is enough of us, is compelling enough to have a show on its own. Like, really, like, sports are huge across the world. Every country has its own sports. There's tons of sports: soccer, baseball, everything. And there's no plot line. It's just the human drive to win and succeed, and the competitive spirit, you know, and that's all this show really needed. And I feel like it had plenty of that up until about the halfway point, and then everything after that is just like, you know, it's like the tale of two halves. Like, I think the show was really quite fun until the halfway point, and then it just became something else entirely. And you know, it wasn't about the human spirit anymore, or about, you know, competitive fire, Rocky or Ippo and all that shit. You know, Ippo did it just fine, and all Ippo is about is like your fighting spirit. And
I was
you know,
fine with their like motivations for fighting. Like, Dawei was like fighting to earn money to help his friend. Miro was fighting to like preserve her father's and like Sword Style's legacy. Like, I like the symbolism of her like looking at her hands, which are like calloused, versus like the painted nails of her classmates, and she was like, this is like the choice I've made to pursue this. Like, I liked all that, and all of that just went out the window, as Mitt said, like the second things got elevated. And also, why did we need 2 blue dragon special moves? We had like a Zerd dragon and blue dragon. Like, we could have gotten different stuff from different characters, but yeah.
Red eyes, blue dragon.
Yeah, white eyes, blue dragon, blue eyes, white dragon.
well, the one guy's
Too many
like, you
dragons.
The one guy's like, you telegraph your moves. I see everything. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. You're literally fucking screaming it before you do it. Like, hi, here comes my blue tornado kick, and then he does this. I know it's like a cliche thing, probably from like Street Fighter or even before, but like, yeah, I'm literally telling you, like, I'm not. It's everything is telegraphed. Triple taekwondo kick. Okay, I'll get ready. I'll block.
Yeah, the fights looked good. I thought sonically, it sounded really good.
Yeah.
It's done by Arisa Okehazama, who's also doing Jujutsu Kaisen along with the director. And it was definitely going for like a Yuki Hayashi feel. It sounded like My Hero Academia and Haikyuu at moments with more of a rock slant. But it had some cool like rhythmic moments in episode 10 and this like epic piano motif during like this final battle, which was supposed to be like super hype inducing, and it perfectly played into that. The OP was a bit of a jam, even though I didn't like Midori like singing the part of it. I don't know, like on that end, I thought it really was solid. So it just really was shambling at the end.
Yeah.
And like up until like the halfway point, I actually like Mira's episode, and I like Daiwei's. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. I kind of liked his episode too, but Jin, the main character, was a character that I had a really hard time liking. There are parts where he is very inconsiderate of other people. Like, I don't know, he was just so obnoxious to me for the first 6 episodes. And when your main character is that way, I'm already gonna have a hard time getting into it. But it was in Mira's episode where she wants to preserve her family fighting style. And she's like, I'm going to marry this guy because of that. And you can tell that she doesn't really want to. But Jin was just so obnoxiously trying to force her to change her mind. And I'm thinking, God, just let her do what she wants.
No, that's the best
Stop
part of
it.
it. Because at the very end, after she's like, you know what? I might not really love this guy, but like I'm willing to like be with him for like the legacy of my family and the clan, and I'm making this choice of my own volition. He comes in and is like, no, don't do it. Stops it, breaks it up. At the very end, he's like, you know what? You should do what you want.
You should do what you want.
Vanessa!
Shut up!
What was doing, you big old dummy?
I was very
I just
upset.
fight to find strong people, and I am just the carefree MC. And yeah, I agree. He was not. I definitely like the other two. Daiwei, the tall, sensible one. Mira, who reads too much Katana Gatari. Like, I thought those two were definitely more of a thing. And I think the ship between them at the end that was kind of forming was kind of cute. So, but yeah, Jin was not that interesting.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I was just very frustrated. He's like, oh, I'm gonna try and force you to change your mind on this. And at the end, but actually you should do what you want. I'm like, oh God, stop.
Come on, my man, please.
I do like the trend of them when they're all these manhwas that they're adapting, that they're getting South Korean bands to do the intros and outro songs. I thought that was actually cool. I kind of like that they're getting the K-pop in there. But...
It was a banger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when like a character will like sing it in a way that like doesn't fit their style. And he's like, I'll be your contradiction. And they don't even finish the animation of him saying it. I don't know. It had its moments. I thought the dub was pretty solid, because I feel like a lot of times the dubs can miss a little bit of the nuance and stuff, but because these characters weren't all that special, I thought the dub was solid enough. Like,
I watched most of it dubbed until the 13th episode, which they did not have a dub of. But yeah. I watched all of it dubbed.
Black and white, like critical strikes, the way they animate that when Mira like makes contact. Like, there's so many moments where I'm like, that was cool. This will be a great AMV. But as a show, it just wasn't for me. So I don't have too much else.
No, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah,
but it wasn't
I for
terrible.
Sure won't be watching season 2.
Oh my God, there's a season 2?
I don't think it's like officially
confirmed.
announced, but there's plenty more source material.
Oh my God, what the fuck would they possibly do? I mean,
the manga was pretty long, so I don't know.
They kind of led at the end. They're like, oh, we'll go out and train as a group and become even stronger for the next time. So I'm sure some people are hyped, but
they blew up the whole fucking country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just See, that's the kind of stuff I can't get past. It's like, oh, we're just gonna we'll just rebuild the whole country and then do it again in 4 years. Like, no, it's just nonsense. I don't know. I don't have that much suspension of disbelief in me. You know, if you blow it up and then it's like, okay, that's the end of the show, that's fine. But like, you're not gonna rebuild the whole city of Seoul and then have another tournament. Who would allow that? Who would allow it? Everyone died.
The people who ran the tournament seem to be definitely in charge of like governmental stuff moving forward.
Oh,
So
actually, sorry, they transported their souls in an instant, right?
Yes, they did.
Simultaneously. Anyway, all right.
any closing comments or?
Not really.
No.
No.
It wasn't for me, but if you really love action and you get like a kick out of that super ridiculous, over the top stuff, you might like it, but overall, I wouldn't recommend it.
Next week we're doing Wave Listen to Me.
Yes, indeed. So that was our show, episode 550. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Don't forget to follow us on our social media, Twitter. The podcast is at AAA Podcast. Mitsugi, where can the nice people find you?
Pope Mitsugi, and do not love Moe.
And Mandy?
I'm Mandy X Mandy, or if you're my mom, it's Mandix Mandy.
Oh, Mandix.
My mom is thought my name was.
She's not wrong. You can find me over at Macy Pacey. Don't forget to join us on Facebook. Don't forget to join us on Discord. All of the links are on our website, aaapodcast.com. Discord, we've got a bunch going on. Mandy and I have been playing a bunch of Phasmophobia, and there you can get announcements for when we're doing so. We're having a movie watch party on November 20th. So Friday night, come in and hang out. We're going to be watching a great movie. Anime Club is discussing Love, Shinobu, and Other Delusions, November 18th at 10 p.m. EST. You can find the show just about anywhere, so we'd love to have you watch it and join us in that discussion. How's Manga Club doing?
Yeah, so Manga Club will be back on the 25th, and we are reading the first 2 volumes of Way of the House Husband. I'm super excited.
Ooh, it's time.
You should definitely read it and come join us. We'll have a very fun, laid-back discussion on it. And we decided to move this up because the anime is slated for, I think, spring next year, I believe. So come join us. I could be wrong about that, but I know it's coming out next year.
Yes, indeed. iTunes, we'd love the reviews. Please shoot them our way. Next episode, as Mitz mentioned, we're doing Wave Listen to Me, as well as what have we been watching for the main topic. If you're watching live, join us for the after party. If you're watching in a week, we'll see you in a week from now. And if you're watching in the future, let us know how our predictions for winter was. But with that, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.